I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. All right, we have a case, a civil case before a federal judge right here in New York City, and Judge Schofield is her name. But I'm concerned about what's happening in the federal U.S. Supreme Court system now with Clarence Thomas. That ProPublica news organization has uncovered a ton of information about a very deviant, grifting, greedy, hypocritical lifestyle of Clarence Thomas. And I'm going to let R.M. Elba tell you a little bit about it, but it concerns me if this is spreading throughout the federal judicial system. Certainly the Supreme Court has lost all of its mojo. I don't think anybody has respect for that court anymore. But Clarence Thomas has been very arrogant, and the justices have all been very arrogant about this grifting, this hypocrisy, this money shaking down that they're doing at the highest court of the land. Mr. Engineer, please roll that clip.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas facing more revelations about the secret payments from that wealthy donor, which were funneled to Thomas, millions of dollars in vacations, and now land deals that benefited Thomas's family. What began as a story about secrets and disclosure that Thomas hid all this is becoming now a wider scandal about whether Clarence Thomas may have broken other rules or the law, whether Chief Justice Roberts and Merrick Garland at DOJ will do anything about it, or, for example, is this Biden appointee, Merrick Garland, afraid to alienate a powerful vote on the court? Is there more than one Washington scandal brewing here? Well, here's fact number one tonight. The scale of the grift is large. Take a look at this graphic we made. The money headed towards Thomas in this entire grift dwarfs his annual salary. Fact two, Thomas, best we can tell, misled just about everyone on this. He hid it. He openly claimed in public that he prefers, RV parks to yachts. And he also has claimed that he upholds the idea on the court that right is right, and he cares constantly about the trust of it as an institution.
I prefer the RV parks. I prefer the Walmart parking lots to the beaches and things like that. But I come from regular stock, and I prefer that.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right.
When you lose that trust, especially in the institution that I'm in, it changes the institution fundamentally. I wonder how long we're going to have these institutions at the rate we're undermining them.
Justice Thomas was there speaking about other people, casting aspersions at who he claimed may have leaked that draft opinion in Roe, but those words sound pretty damning against him. How can we trust these institutions when he acts like this? Fact number three, Thomas uses his power on the court to try to let judges ask for even more money. Literally. Take this 2015 case where he was on the losing side, but he dissented, arguing judges should be able to directly solicit donors for campaign money. It's the kind of issue where now Thomas's impartiality is in question after he's been exposed for getting money for a donor, not for a campaign, but for something more damning, his personal use, his family, his yacht travels. Justice Thomas has also used his power to oppose disclosure laws. In that famous Citizens United case, other conservatives on the court ruled that money is speech, but they said, don't worry about it getting out of control. It'll be tempered by required disclosure. But not Clarence Thomas. Looking at his actual use of his judicial power, he was more extreme. He argued spending should be kept secret to hide and protect any big dollar donors from any public scrutiny. And his reason was hard to follow. He said if people knew what big donors were doing, who they were giving to, they might face death threats. He lost, but that shows you what he wanted to do. Then in another case, the court actually ruled against a cigarette company for deceptive labeling. Thomas dissented. He wanted to allow the cigarette maker to basically mislead about the dangers of its product in a way that was ruled illegal. He also lost that effort. It was his way of trying to use his power to allow more deception by powerful interests. Deception is not my word. It is what the court found, the majority. But even in that dissent, which we dug it up to take a look, He conceded something that now he is failing on in his own conduct. And I'll put it right up here on the screen so you can read it yourself. That there is a duty not to deceive. Even Clarence Thomas knows about that duty. He wrote about it. He ruled on it. But he is not living by it. He has now been caught deceiving the public and his colleagues against not only his duty, but as this article points out, it may even be illegal if the DOJ or the Chief Justice decide to get out of this clubby Washington thing where all the elite lawyers are buddies and they don't ever investigate themselves, and he's actually held to that very duty not to deceive that he himself wrote about. I want to give you that update, working off the law, so you see that there.
You probably are very much aware of Clarence Thomas and very much aware of the fact that Justice Roberts' wife has earned over $10 million by recommending lawyers to high-priced white shoe law firms. And Justice Gorsuch has sold if you will, some sort of a farmhouse or a camping house and made a ton of money. And that I think it was Dick Durbin, the senator from Chicago, from Illinois, called a hearing to bring Justice John Roberts in to question the ethics of the Supreme Court, and they all 9 justices, including Sotomayor and the Camel, Ketanji Brown Jackson, all signed a certificate stating that they did not want the Congress looking into their ethics. So, in so many words, that's what they were saying in their signing unanimously.